Hey everybody! So today's tutorial is on the Forever Lasting Manicure, and this is basically a manicure that I use to keep my nails lasting healthy, lasting strong. That doesn't even make sense. But it keeps the polish on for just ages and ages. It keeps your nails strong and protected, and it's also really, really pretty. It involves kind of using tea bags as like a gel wrap, just so that we have that extra strength, and actually using a strengthener underneath to make sure that our nails have optimal health. If you guys want a video on nail care, there is one, so be sure to go check it out. But this is how I keep my manicures lasting forever. And for more nail tutorials, feel free to go check them out. I sound like this because I have mononucleosis, not strep throat. So I'll be doing a lot of tutorials where I don't really show you guys my face because I don't really feel like getting up and moving around all the time. But yeah, keep watching and I'll show you how to do this. Also, this color is OPI's Italian Love Affair, and I talk about it in my favorites nail polishes for the season. So be sure to go check that out too. Here's how to do it. And as with any other nail tutorial, you want to make sure that you start off with clean, healthy nails, and I have a video on it, so go check it out. Also, you guys are seeing a lot of these videos where I'm not actually in the frame. Reason why is because I've been having some medical problems, and I'll link you to the strep throat video so you guys can kind of see it, but I think we just found out it's not strep throat. So yes, I'm a medical mystery. I'll be updating you guys soon. But that's why I kind of sound different and I have so many of these tutorials up. So again, this is kind of the forever manicure to make sure that your nails last absolutely longest lasting manicure possible. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually strengthen my nails. I'm taking just a clear polish, this one's from Sally Hansen, and I'm actually going to paint along the very tips of my nails. Once this dries, what it's going to do is strengthen them so that way they'll be less prone to breaking. And I'm only going to do one strip on the very, very tip, and then just a tiny bit right here underneath the bottom. I'm going to do a tiny bit right underneath the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that, sorry. I'll try to stay in the frame. But do just on the tip here so that way it'll kind of help seal everything in. And I'm not going to go down the nail bed because down farther on the nail bed is where we're actually going to add a strengthener as opposed to a coating. A very thin layer will do the job, but if you guys have very prone to cracking nails, or if your nails are already cracked, such as this one, right there the tip it's cracked, then you guys might even want to add 2 layers. So once you finish that and your nails are almost completely dry, we're going to go in with our wraps. And there's a very special way that I do this. What you could do is apply your base coat, which is basically clear nail polish, and then put the wrap on. But I find that it's actually better to use a strengthening base coat as an adhesive, just because that way it'll actually strengthen and help the nail as opposed to just having a polish on it. And wraps are great because what they do is enable the nail to grow longer and stronger, and they don't have any of the acrylic bad stuff. So these are also perfect to use under acrylic nails if you guys are worried about nail glue and things like that. And you can use a lot of different materials for a wrap. However, I just use tea bags, and what this is just a tea bag that I finished and ripped open, etc. And I used to go in and try to cut out every single one of these to the shape of my nail, but I found that it is so time consuming and it's so much easier to just stick them on and kind of peel them off. So I'm going to show you guys how. This is what I'm using. This is Sephora by OPI Strengthener, and I'm going to take a bit of this onto my dry nail, and this is why I didn't do the base coat all the way down, because I want to be sure that this and all of its good ingredients are able to, completely penetrate the nail. What I'm going to do is gently paint this on in one very, very thin layer, because that's all we really need. I'm going to let it dry for probably about 30 seconds to a minute so it gets a little bit tacky, and then I'll show you how we apply this. And this also doubles as a base coat. Once that's dried for a little while, you can rip off a larger piece or just take a normal size piece. And you want to just kind of fit this to however you believe it works on the nail. And just like that, I'm just going to lay it across and kind of press it down. And as you'll notice, it'll kind of adhere to the nail, kind of get a little bit sticky. and there's all this extra stuff. We're actually going to leave this extra stuff on until it is completely dried, so that way we can accurately rip it off without damaging the nail or the manicure. So once you have finished laying down the kind of wraps, the tea bag wraps, you can go over once more with this strengthener base coat and just stay exactly on the nail, and this is going to help seal this wrap in. After this step, you guys can kind of wait on this for a little while or apply a kind of quick dry nail spray, really whatever you prefer. But just make sure that this layer completely dries off before we start adding color. After this is completely dried, we can start peeling off the edges. And a good idea would actually be to take a Q-tip or tweezers or something very sharp and just go around the edges, almost to cut kind of a little hole in the tea bag so that it comes off even instead of coming off like this, a little bit raggedy. You can do that or you can skip it. So I'm going to skip it, but that would ensure that you get it really close to the cuticle bed as well. And if you have extra like that, it's just going to be like that. You guys can take it off later, but I actually kind of like to leave it on, just so that way when I'm painting, if I get anything on the cuticle, it's easier to remove later. Also, when you're here by the tip, you want to make sure that you pull down. That way you don't remove any extra polish here at the very front. So now that we've gotten the majority of that off, there's still a little bit around the edges, and we're going to save that until very last to remove. So next we're going to go in with our color. And you guys can use whatever color you like, but the tip here is to really do these thick. Problem is, the thicker they are, the longer they take to dry. So it would be great if you guys had a fan dryer or a UV dryer, or you know, there's also sort of spray things you can spray on your nails, or even coats that go in between layers to strengthen them. Or, you know, you could just kick it the old-fashioned way and wait a really long time between layers. But the thicker they are, the longer they will take to dry, and the longer they will last. Also, this is a color by OPI, and I'll show you kind of how I do mine. I basically do one large streak down the middle, and then another one across the side, and another one across the third side. And I think that's pretty much the norm in the polish industry, kind of how everyone recommends you do it. If you guys have other ways, feel free to post them at the bottom. And as you can see, it's kind of streaky. Right there, it's kind of streaky. That's okay, because we will be going over with another layer. Also, you do not want to do this right before you take a shower, because the water can lift and separate these different layers. If anything, you want to do it when your nails are clean and dry after a shower. After you finish drying off and putting on products and stuff like that. And you know, usually night is better because you're not going to be nicking or bending your nails while they're trying to dry. So next, I'm going to be dipping my nails in and out of ice water, and you want to keep them in here for 5 minutes straight and then dip them in and out for the next 20 minutes. As much as you can do is good, but ooh, it's cold. Try to keep them in there as long as possible. This is going to help set the polish, and it's also going to enable us to remove the tea bag on the side much easier. So I'm going to cool this, and then I'm going to let these kind of sit overnight. I'm going to go to sleep, then I'm going to wake up and show you guys the very last layer, how to remove the little excess on the sides, and the very last coat. Alrighty everyone, so it's officially a day later, and I finished up all these nails except for this last one. I'm going to tell you how I did this. You guys can take a tweezer, you guys can take just about anything, but you want to go around this nail bed and completely take off all of this excess stuff. You can use tweezers, you can use a cuticle cutter. I actually just used my nail and kind of dug in. A lot of these nails might actually have like little rigid bumps. So what I did, you can just take any nail file, this one's from Sephora, and completely just scratch them off. Just kind of file them down on the top so that they're even in shape. And this one, yes, it kind of take the polish off a little bit, but that's okay because we're going to be applying 2 extra layers. So once you guys have filed all the tips of your nails kind of like on the surface, you can go back in with your color. And like I said, you guys can do as many layers as you want. I have done about 5 on all of my nails, but I'm just going to add a thick layer and then let this dry. Again, the best way to dry it is in either ice water or to cure it with a UV light. And if you guys don't have a UV light, a great alternative is to just let these sit out in the sun. Alright, then if you guys want, you can go after you cure each layer, you can do as many as you want. I think I have 5 layers on right now, including the base coat. You guys can then add your favorite little, this is just Sally Hansen, strengthening. I usually prefer OPI, but I tried that today. You guys can put a top coat on. Might not need it, but it's totally up to your discretion. And of course, after this, you want to clean up the edges. So this is your forever lasting manicure. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope your manicures can last forever and keep your nails healthy and strong. So, mwah, kisses to you, and I will talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.